Hello, everyone. This is Chala Dinkoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert. Welcome to another edition of Tuesday Tea Time with Chala. I'm going to take a sip, well deserved sip. It has been a whirlwind of a day, and I'm going downtown again tonight. Oh boy. Toronto traffic is not what it used to be during COVID. Let me tell you, it's gone insane. Everybody's outside. Everybody wants to be outside, even though it's cold, but we are here. So, this is the right topic for today because the great resignation has finally hit me. The micro businesses are being hit. Now, I know this is no news to you, but it was a rude awakening for me. With my business growing, I decided at the beginning of the year to recruit someone for my company to help me with my sales and setting sales appointments. On the surface, it's not a huge position. It was a contract, a project based, with the possibility of turning into a full time. So here are some of the things that I've learned, and to give advice to both sides of the table. Because if you're a micro business like me who's looking and you're running into the same issues that I am, uh, and a lot of my clients have been having these issues, but it was mostly in the blue collar sector that they were hiring. And I guess some in white collar as well, but they are much bigger than me. I mean, we're talking, it's now come down to this level now, even with contractors. So, yeah, so nothing's been the same since the pandemic, as you know. And now, as I was saying, the micro businesses are even being affected. And here's what to do about it, both from the person who's trying to find a job and the people who are trying to find someone qualified to fill those jobs. So let me just talk to you about a couple of trends that are hitting me as the potential employer. The biggest one, and one of my friends is the director of HR of a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company, and she was saying, like, it was a huge aha for her because I told her that I'm running into it, and major aha for her of why it's such a huge issue to get new hires to be as responsive as qualified. And it could be because are you ready for this, they're multi-gigging. This is a huge trend. So especially in the IT industry, I've read of employees now taking on multiple full-time jobs where they line up their entire desktops, one for each job, and they actually set software that moves your mouse around every couple of minutes, because hybrid employees, like at home employees, are tracked sometimes by those means. And so it's to make sure to look like that they're actually working. So I'm not saying that the people that I hired were doing this, but there were some that told me, like, because at the beginning I said, you can do this part-time, you can do this full-time, like, I'm flexible. So I got a lot of people, and in fact I hired one that was multi-gigging, and he was very honest about it. Now the problem with multi-giggers is, one, of course, priority. Like, are you the priority? Most of the time I'm not the priority because my business is micro. The second problem is you can never really check their references because they're already working with someone, and if that someone is not okay with you knowing that they're working, and you're kind of accepting the situation, you can't call their boss and ask them, hey, are they a good sales rep, right? So I mean, your hands are kind of bound at that point, and you can't really do any background checks or talk to any current employers. And so, I mean, in the case of the person that I hired, I knew I was not the priority because every meeting, and we only had 2 meetings, we had booked, he canceled hours before the meeting because his actual real boss, which I thought I was his real boss, but his actual boss wanted to have a meeting with him. So just a few hours before the meeting. So, I mean, it became clear very quickly that this was not the right fit. So, the solve for this was that I changed the job description. I no longer want to work part time or with multi gigging, at least from the get-go. Like if they hide it, there's not really a lot of ways that I can tell, except if they're not responsive. But yeah, I changed the job post to full-time only. So we'll see how that goes. Number two trend is, I had always read that this was a millennial trend, and I always used to make fun of my millennial friends, but no shows, like ghosting is always known to be a millennial thing. But so the no shows is like either it's just, like they're super excited and, right away they book a date and time and you agree to it. And then like the date and time comes and you send them the meeting information and the meeting Zoom link and nobody's there. Or, and then that can go even further to notice no response to anything after that too. Like, are you coming? I'm waiting on the Zoom link. I'm waiting on the Zoom line. So there's no DM or email response to that. So like that has become a huge issue. I think out of 7 people who applied, half of them were no shows, which like it's really mind boggling to me, because it's not a very difficult, complex job at all. At all. It's like appointment setting on LinkedIn. So maybe it's the type of job that attracts the type of people, but it's just mind boggling. Now, this is bad for a lot of reasons, because like I know we don't know each other, but you're burning, like the person who's a no show is literally burning their name. Maybe it's a fake name and they're just going to open up a new account and go under that name. Maybe it is. But it's mind boggling to me how reputation has just become so disposable that these people are willing to just, ruin their reputation for I don't know what. It's mind boggling to me. This is a whole new level of business that luckily I've just never been exposed to. The level of companies that I work with we've just never been exposed to this. So the solve for this is we've created an application. So it's an application form. So the person has to at least fill the application before being able to book a call with me. Now, most of the small business hiring advice is the opposite of that, which is, make it as easy as possible. But I've seen the other side, and I do this for clients. Clients can't talk to me, or prospects can't talk to me without actually filling out a form. So I don't see why, possible applicants for a job with me can't do the same. I mean, it's not an onerous, it's like 6 questions, but at least they have to go through the motions of having to fill it and then being able to schedule an appointment. The other thing is, last minute cancels. Again, one said their tech wasn't working. One said the Zoom wasn't working. And it was just like on the hour, at the hour of the call. So the call is like at 3:00 and I get a message at 3:00. So again, it could be such a number of things that are going on, but it hurts your reputation. I'm talking about the person who's applying for the job. It hurts your credibility. It obviously hurts your chances. If, like now I've become inured to it, that I'm just like not sure that I'm even going to give anyone a chance if they really didn't show up, or if they canceled right on the dot. You can give them the benefit of the doubt for once, or I wouldn't give it to them twice. But I'm just mind boggled by how this has all been going. So I welcome your thoughts if this has also happened to you. I'm not one to usually do like negative content or complaining content, but I just thought this was a great opportunity to educate and to tell you about all the solves. So it's not just like, belly aching about all the things that are horrible and going wrong, but I'm telling you all the things that I learned from it and the things that I'm applying, so that you can also learn from my mistakes and shortcut to the solutions, like I'm saying. So what was the solve for the last minute cancellations is we're going to add detailed instructions and disclaimers about doing a tech check. Now, these are things we used to do we actually do with clients and prospects, but we obviously have to include that language, 24-hour cancellation notice required. So, I mean, of course, we're going to add all this, and we don't know if that's going to help, but it's got to at least be raising some sort of awareness, I'm hoping, and I will let you know how that goes. And the last thing that I'm going to be looking at, of course, which I should have done in the first place, which I kind of did, but was hopeful with the job post, is other means of filling the job. So looking at actual, hourly temps and contractors who actually do this for a living. Companies, there's also companies that employ themselves, the armies of these kinds of contractors, so that they take the brunt of actually hiring and going through the whole process that I just described to you, and then all they do is send me the qualified people and they bill me. So that's another alternative that I've thought about. And then of course, one of the things that my coach told me about, which is how he hired his, is his own social media followers, or the people that he's in groups with in his own coaching programs and so on. So if you think about how hard it is to hire now for any kind of job, these are huge opportunities for service companies to add on as a service, to have these armies of ready to go people that you vet and keep. In fact, one of my clients is a janitorial company, and that became actually the positioning that we used for them, is that their people don't leave. They have 400% higher retention than the industry average. And that just means, for their clients, it just means continuous quality. So that's a huge opportunity for you guys. So here's some other things that I was reading all the research about, like how to address this shortage and the great resignation hitting the micro businesses, is a clearly defined list of expectations and outcomes for the position and the job. So these are some of the ways that I'm going to beef up what was a very straightforward to me application that job description. One of the points that I really like that I didn't have is upfront salary information. That'll weed out a lot of people right there. Bullet points instead of like huge paragraphs to describe the job, because if you think about how people are inundated by it, and people are applying to multiple jobs, they won't read whatever you tell them. So most of the time they're like blind applying anyway. But if you have it easier to digest, how sad is that they'll be able to actually understand what's required. And then, of course, you may be already doing this, but just very clearly state the amount of experience that's below which is a deal breaker. And then, of course, try to add in why you. Like, are you going to give more flexible time, flexible pay? Are you going to give more money than the industry? Are you giving them something that they can learn that they can't learn anywhere else? That would be nice to add, right? Here's some red flags, right up front, that I noticed is, if it's really difficult to find a time to talk, that you're having difficulty scheduling the candidate, it's because they've got another job or they're at too many other interviews. But it questions, in my mind, their availability. Time lag and responsiveness. Like, I consider that in business, responsiveness is a currency. I've written about this before, because the more responsive you are, the more likely you are to earn more money and get more clients, and so on. So, if there's a time lag in their responsiveness in trying to get the job, you can be sure that when they're trying to sell your company, or they're trying to serve you with any type of outreach or outside facing role, like what I'm looking for, they're going to have a time lag there too. And that's going to lose all the opportunities. And of course, like no shows, any type of excuses, last minute changes. I also had one guy was overly ambitious and aggressive, and he was pursuing the position and talked me into giving him a meeting, and he didn't show. And then I heard a couple of weeks after from him saying, "Oh, I had tech issues. Is it okay if we meet again?" And I was like, "Yeah, delete." So I hope that was a little bit educational. I hope that helps you with your pain points around hiring. And there is actual, light at the end of the tunnel. I know it. And I know that the right person is out there for all of us. And we just have to be out there and open and represent our brand as best we can, so that not just people that we're trying to recruit see our marketing and visibility, but also people that we're trying to sell to do as well. It's a two-way street. Visibility is gold in marketing and sales and business. So hopefully somebody who's watching this is actually going to raise their hand and say, hey, Chala, let's work together and I will get you some more sales appointments so that you can make your amazing goals this year. So I hope that was inspirational and educational, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.